Hey everybody, it's Beck, and it is time for another video upload. Um, this is another one. This is only the second one. This one was going to be about a history, and I was going to do a terribly lengthy history of my whole life growing up, identifying as a lesbian, and what I experienced growing up, and my perspective and everything, and then I was going to do another video on how I came to realize I was transgender and then figure out, go through the little pieces of my past and explain how I figured out that, that man, I was transgender. Oh, all lesbians don't feel that way. Oh, okay. Um, and I kept thinking about it and what I was going to talk about and everything, and I realized that it goes against some fundamentals of how I live my life now. I am one that likes to say in the present, I have acknowledged everything in my past. I've accepted it. It has brought me to the person that I am today, and I like who I am. And it has given me clarity to figure out more things about myself and figure out what I want in my future. And it's something that stays in the past. I don't dredge it up very often. I try not to. Um, because it doesn't really benefit where I'm going. So, me going back and rehashing everything that happened to me when I was growing up was just so not necessary. So, what I decided to do instead was I do think that it's helpful to see um, other transgendered men and see what their story is, how they figured out that they were transgender. I think talking about that does help um, for others to figure out. I had the same experience. I felt the same way. It may help somebody else to not just figure out that they're transgender, but feel a connection to somebody else and that they are not the only one that felt that way. Um, so that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about how I figured out that I was transgender and go back and talk about, the little things that happened to me as a child and growing up and in adulthood that really, bothered me and were major events that should have been like, hey, here I am. You're transgendered, so that's what we're going to do now. A few months ago, when all the marriage equality was going on just before the Supreme Court was making their decision, I was watching a video that somebody, I can't even remember what the video exactly was about. One of my friends on Facebook had posted it, shared it or whatever. And it was a video that was on marriage equality. And I clicked on it and I watched it and it was awesome. And it got to the end of the video and it has, on YouTube, has the little, squares, oh wait, of other videos that either people have watched or relate to this or whatever that you can choose to watch next. Recommendations, I suppose. And one of the recommendations was Aiden Dowling, one of his videos. And I saw the heading, I can't remember exactly which one it was, but it said FTM. And I went, huh. And I looked at him and I went, well, he doesn't look transgendered at all. That's not what I would have in mind when I think of a transgendered man. And I'd never actually known for sure any transgendered men before this that I knew of. I'm pretty sure that there were many around me that I had no idea about because I had some sort of distorted idea in my head that these were people that would not truly pass in society that would not look like just average guys, which I don't even know where I got that from. I just had very little exposure to transgender people in general. Even though, I identify as a lesbian, was in the LGBTQ community. It, not heavily, but I was a member of the community. You would think that I would have some, you would think I would have some idea of, you know, the normality of how these people appear once they've actually gone through their transition. And I really had no clue. And I clicked on the video, and I watched it, and then I clicked on another one, and I clicked on another one, I clicked on another one, and it was, I don't remember which person it was, but it was one of the transition videos where they go from baby video until, 3 years on T or something like that. And they talked about some of the situations during the pictures and everything like that that they had gone through growing up, and some of the things that they were feeling. And it just, I started crying. Yeah, I started crying, just bawling at this video, because it all just clicked. Just, it just clicked. It made so much sense, and it just resonated so much with me that was who I was. And then I watched another video, and I watched like an hour's worth of transgender videos. I got to the end of it, and I realized I needed to go to bed. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm transgendered. That's crazy. That's insane. And I did not handle it very well. It scared me, I think. Excited me at first, and then I started really thinking about what that meant, and the changes that I would have to make if I actually transitioned, now that I realized that. And it scared the crap out of me. I'm fairly established in who I am at this point in my life. I'm 41 years old. There's a lot of identity to who I am right now. And the thought of pushing that aside was terrifying, and starting completely new. But the more I looked into it, just the more right it felt. And I realized that I needed to just seriously give consideration to the fact, accept the fact that I was transgender, and really give consideration to whether or not I wanted to transition with testosterone or surgery or surgeries, and how far I wanted to take it. But I could not deny that that was who I was. It never felt right when I did. And I started going back and looking at, things that happened when I was growing up that should have clued me in to the fact that I was transgendered. And before I go into this, if my mother or my father, I don't think he would watch these, but just in case, please don't feel like you did anything wrong. I didn't realize I was. God knows I wouldn't expect y'all to. If anything, you let me explore who I was more than I think a lot of parents would. And I really do acknowledge that and appreciate that. And it's helped. It's helped me. Yeah, you helped raise me in a very strong individual. It took me a while to get where I am now, but I'm very happy where I am. So anyway, when I was very, very little. I was the youngest and the only girl, so, I got dressed up in girly little things, dresses and whatnot. And as soon as I was big enough, physically, able to actually take them off, I would. And I liked dressing in my brother's hand-me-downs and things. And my brother and I would swim in our little kiddie pool. He would get to wear shorts, just swim trunks kind of thing. And I wanted to wear just shorts. And I hadn't hit puberty or anything. I was probably like 5 or 6. I wanted to wear just shorts and no top. And I saw no difference in that. There was no difference in our body structures or anything that you could visibly see. And that was how I felt comfortable. And I had a really, really hard time when I hit puberty. Very hard time. My best friend in elementary school when I was young was a guy. And once we started hitting puberty, that changed. It wasn't cool for him to be friends with the tomboy anymore. And his priorities changed, and it just didn't work out anymore the way it had. And, I'd had female friends and stuff already, and was seen as a female and accepted in the group anyway, but it really did hurt that I wasn't included with guys anymore. My body started changing and everything, and it wasn't what I envisioned. And I could keep going on with this, but the most important thing that I realized about myself when I was younger was I started thinking back. One of the people said that every time that they thought, one of the FTM videos that I watched, he described the fact that when he was younger, he would think about what he wanted to be when he grew up, or think about himself as an adult. He always pictured a man. And I thought back, and that was me. There's so many things that I wanted to be when I grew up, but one of them was I wanted to be a linebacker for the Miami Dolphins. I probably still would have tried to pursue that if I hadn't stopped growing when I hit 5'1". I kind of put a damper on my NFL career, but when I would picture myself as this linebacker on this football team, I didn't picture myself as the first woman to ever be in the NFL. I pictured myself as this big, huge, buff man that played football. That's what I wanted. And every other time I imagined myself as an adult when I was younger, I always imagined myself as a man. And do not remember ever even being able to imagine myself as a woman. It wouldn't, that picture just wouldn't come to me. I just couldn't do it. And realizing that was definitely the most important piece of the puzzle to fill in. It was the one that gave me the most clarity and the most confirmation, I guess, about the fact that I am transgender. Always wanted to grow up to be a man, and buried that really deep. And now that it's coming out, I'm not sure where it's going to take me. I'm really not. I think every day, possibly every hour, I go back and forth about what I want to do, how far I want to take my transition. And the one thing that I know I want to do is I want to be very open about it. I want to be able to talk to as many people and be as visible with this as possible. I don't want to just put the woman that I've been up until this point, I don't want to push her back to the back and completely create a new person and ignore the fact that she even existed. I don't want to do that. I don't think I would create a whole new Facebook account or anything like that. I wouldn't want to lose those memories. I wouldn't want people to not be able to see those or have access to those, that know me. I just want to be as honest and true to myself as I can be. And, yeah, I'm happy that I had the past that I did, because it got me to where I am now. And I want that to stay intact, and I want it to stay with me moving forward. So, we'll see where it goes. It's only the second video, so we'll see what I wind up doing next. Tomorrow, I think I'm actually going to make sure that I have time to tell my mother, which I haven't done yet, because I just haven't actually had enough time to feel, sorry, my foot was falling asleep and there's Pomeranian on top of it. I haven't had enough time to sit down and tell her. I haven't made enough time to sit down and tell her yet, and want to have plenty of time for her to do questions or whatever. I don't think she's going to have a problem with it, but I would be shocked if she did. But yeah, I want to give it. I want to give it the time that I think it deserves to go over. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. We'll maybe talk about it in the next video. Yeah, gonna have to do some serious editing on this because it's like 18 minutes now, but we'll do that and see what we want to talk about next. And until then, hope everybody watching is well, and please subscribe. There might be something fun that I come up with. You never know. So subscribe, and we will see you next time.